18-year-old Carmelo Anthony is a black teenager charged with stabbing a white boy to death at a school track meeting in April. More than $600,000 in donations have poured in, not for the victim's grieving family, but for his alleged killer. Last week, Shiloh Hendricks went viral after a video showed the young mother racially abusing a 5-year-old, allegedly for stealing from her young child.
Call him a child? Did you call the child word? It is my own business. You call him a Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again?
Fuck you.
Huh? All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him
Yeah.
the little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna...
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old.
Well, as you can see, Hendricks doesn't deny using the slur. In fact, she repeats it many times. That's all the stuff that's bleeped out. When a bystander in the park follows her with his smartphone. Hendricks set up a fundraiser on the same website as Carmelo Anthony's supporters, on which she wrote, "I called the kid out for what he was." Incredibly, that campaign has now raised more money than the first one, surpassing $655,000 at the time of taping the show. Well, the boss of the website, Give, Send, Go, is accused of facilitating brazen racism on a platform whose motto is "Money is temporary, Jesus is eternal." He will join me later.
All right, immediate reactions, man. What are you guys feeling about that? I do recall seeing that story, man. I don't think I looked too much into it until I came across this story. It's pretty wild.
Wait, so that's the mother of the son who was killed?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking. I thought that's what the correlation was. Okay.
No.
I think it was two different topics time. I think he was like telling one topic about the Carmelo Anthony and then telling another topic about this 5-year-old that apparently took a snack from this other kid, and then the mom came and started like cursing at the 5-year-old, calling him the N-word and all that stuff.
Well, I think his point of comparing the two is that you have one side with Carmelo Anthony where of course predominantly black people supported his cause in which he was raising money, and at the same time with the other side seeing that and saying this is not right. But you know what? Since this person that looks like us did something that the other side disagrees with, we're going to do the same thing that Carmelo Anthony supporters did as well. So I think this is actually a perfect mirror of what it is our society looks like, and where people will, in my opinion, support outright things that we deem as being wrong or insensitive, but we support it solely because this person looks like me, and not going off of the morality of what the situation actually is.
All right. Go ahead, Dan.
When I saw it, I couldn't. It's like Viz just said it. He just basically summed it up. And it's just like trying to talk to those, like when I see the comments and the people trying to justify it, it's like talking to a wall at some point. It's just like you just feel like this is the who can kill each other. Well, I don't understand who can attack each other the most, or I really don't understand. But one thing I do notice is that both sides tend to get two different facts. When it initially hits, each side's getting two completely different stories that makes them, entitled to the belief system that they already have. And then it's like, at that point, it's hard to be like having empathy. But yeah, I don't want to speak too much on that situation either, because I still have empathy for the little boy, the white dude who lost his life, because even the guy who was fighting him had empathy for him. You know what I'm saying? But when you in the mindset of self-defense, it's like, but I'm tired of seeing stuff like that. So this is my opinion. As far as like people trying to justify stuff for those just because of a race, you know. And I seen it in our race too. I seen our people do some ignorant shit, and it was like, oh well, what has white people done to us? And I'm like, if we don't fix this soon, we'll eventually become them. Like, don't let us take over now, because a lot of innocent people who probably would like marches or did protests with us, they'll probably get attacked because we haven't fully healed or, you know, forgave in order for us to move forward, which is something the Native Americans had to do in order to get to where they are today. So had to forgive people that ain't sorry, you know. And then at that point, you could really make a move and do something different within your community.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think that I don't know the totality of the young man with the defense when they were trying to compare the two issues. I think the point, because I looked at that Pierce Morgan thing in its entirety, and what the gripe was how could the community support the young man from the GoFundMe and then flip it on this young lady having a racial anguish to against this child, and then the Black community is saying, oh, that's wrong. But basically, I think what they were explaining was that it wasn't the fact that they were funding the young man and saying what he did was right. It was to help him with his legal fees, I believe, so that he can ultimately have a good, strong defense. This is what they were saying. I'm not saying it's right necessarily, Viz, but that's what they were trying to spell out. But I'll say personally, the lady in the park with the kid, I just think that lady's unhinged. Like, how can you find yourself to, spit a racial slur at a child? Children, when they interact and they playing, they don't always mean anything wrong. Kids take stuff all the time, push each other over all the time, things like that. So, and I don't know what's wrong with that lady mentally to where she felt necessary to have to bully a child. And then where's that kid's parent? How did this even go down? How did this transpire? So we still got a lot of hate in this nation, unfortunately.
And we never know. Maybe the kid's parent like walked away because they didn't want to have confrontation, and then it be flipped to now it's like, oh, you have, this parent acting a certain way. So I think that the woman that started doing the racial slurs and calling out the 5-year-old is wrong. That's a 5-year-old at the end of the day. Like you stated, it's way different than the Carmela and everything, because that's two young kids going at it, right? Not that there's right thing or wrong thing, but it's just that's between those two young kids. There was no adult involved in that process.
Somebody lost their life. How was that way different?
Huh?
I think it's different because
it's different because the whole Carmelo Anthony stuff, we're talking about two different things as far as the mom talking to a 5-year-old, like she's attacking a 5-year-old for taking a snack when there are other ways to just approach the situation. Like you could have just said, hey, like, don't do that, give that back. We see that all the time. Like you go to the park with your kids, a kid takes something from your kid, no, give it back. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to sit there and be like, F you and you little N-word and this and that. Like, you're not going to do that. Like,
well, yeah. So by that same exact logic,
mm-hmm.
we've all, you're not a man. So,
no,
but we've all in high school had encounters with someone that may have been a bully or someone that we may have felt was a bully.
Yeah.
We didn't kill them.
Yeah.
We didn't delete them.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I'm not here to pick sides of who was right and who was wrong. Again, both parties, in my opinion, were wrong in what it was that they were doing, that they did.
Yeah.
But to try to justify one as being more right than the other, I think is
I'm not
point.
justifying that one is right. I'm saying they're two completely different scenarios. One was between one person, like you can't compare.
My point of saying that is, again, I think the reasoning as to why he mentioned this is the fact that there's one group that says him deleting this young boy over a scrap, over something that every man, a young man, or in even females have encountered at some point in time in life, in high school, has dealt with. They didn't delete them. So the same way that it's like, okay, this is something that people experience and people supported it. So the fact that the other side is seeing this, and then they now see someone do something on the opposite side of the spectrum, is okay. Well, since they did that, we're going to support this. So I think that was the comparison of what Piers Morgan
Is it kind of
was
like
actually
two
trying to
wrongs
do.
make a right kind of deal? Because what I was talking about was just like, why are you approaching a 5-year-old? You know, as far as like the thing that happened with Carmen, of course, we've all been bullied. I actually had a situation where one of the bullies tried to throw my brother off of a bridge. So like, I get how far bullying can go. I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm not saying that. Definitely 100%. You could always handle situations a lot better. You don't have
But
to unalive somebody,
there's
because that's not what I did when that situation arose. But
the problem is that a lot of people are saying that it was right, that it was justified.
I think that, but that's well, the point I was trying to draw from what I gathered from what Piers Morgan said was this is no different, almost like the George Zimmerman situation. People funded George Zimmerman's campaign for support, legal support. I'm not saying it's right. I think that that's in the same vein. This young man was wrong. We can clearly state he was wrong. He handled it incorrectly. There's no reason to ever take someone's life by force, in my honest opinion. However, it doesn't to diminish that as a community, if you want to move in that manner, that this young man needed support from a legal perspective. And that's where I think it gets a little murky, because we move our morality and our standard of morality when it's convenient. You know, he needs lawyers. Right, wrong, or indifferent, people felt it necessary to patronize the situation and assist. Now, if we want to argue, was he morally correct? Clearly, no. But in the law of this land, you need lawyers to defend yourself. You go, due process and all those things. However, like Callie's saying, I just don't understand a fully functional adult, spitting vitriol to a child in a racial capacity. Like,
yeah, that's all I was saying. Like, I just can't comprehend like why a mother at that. Like, I'm not a mother, but like I still have those maternal instincts in me. Like, I don't have the mindset to go. There have been children that like pissed me off, but I don't have the mindset to go and like just start honing in on them. Like, I have a little bit more grace because they are kids, and it is up to us to lead them in the right direction. But where do you think the mentality will go when you're 5 years old and the first thing you witness as you're learning to handle your emotions and live, you're encountering someone, especially an older woman, coming at you, calling you all these names and things like that? Like, that at 5 years old, that could be traumatizing to a 5-year-old, especially when they're, they don't know, a lot of times they don't even know what they did wrong. And so that's why it's like we have to also think about that too. Like,
So
when does this end? Like, when does it end?
And
I
agree with you, but
video too, y'all. So
I agree with you, Callie. But
Mhm.
but you're saying that a 5-year-old doesn't know that they're stealing something that's somebody else's.
No, I'm saying that a lot of times when
He
you're
was
5 years,
autistic, 5-year-old. Make sure you throw that in there. Autistic. From somebody who helped raise an autistic child, that matters.
yeah. Oh, I didn't know that either. That makes it even worse, because when you have autism, you act out in spurs. Like, you act out because you don't know how to articulate or control certain emotions as someone that doesn't have that. So you tend to be a lot more rambunctious and boisterous when you have that, because you don't know how to communicate effectively. So that's someone that has special needs. That's a 5-year-old child that has special needs, that didn't know what was going on. So I feel bad for the 5-year-old. I feel that it was wrong that the mom did that.